You purposely concealed this conclusive evidence. That, my friend, is a serious offense. I'm looking forward to pressing charges after the defendant is convicted. I'll have your badge, boy. What's the matter? Cat got your tongue? Are you going to tell us how it feels? How it feels to be the one who single-handedly turned a poor little girl into a murderer? Are you done? Before I do that, there's just one little thing I have to clear up. Oh, and what's that? Who really killed Prosecutor Neil Marshall? What? Chief Gunn, you are absolutely right. This piece of cloth proves who the real murderer is. You killed Neil Marshall, you ask? Who killed Neil Marshall, you ask? It wasn't Emma Skye, wasn't it? I'm afraid that's not possible. You see, this piece of cloth contains a critical contradiction. What? Contradiction? What is this fool babbling about? I'm talking about a contradiction. One that proves who the real killer is. Miss Wright, this piece of cloth. Who could it possibly contradict? Chief Gant, your tyrannical reign ends here. Behold, this piece of evidence contradicts this cloth. Sorry? And what exactly is this supposed to be? This is the picture of Miss Emma Skye. Wow, Mrs. Skye took. Take a good look at it. See where the piece of his vest was cut out? Yes, his shirt is showing underneath. It's hard to make it out with all the blood on his vest though. Exactly my point. His chest is soaked with blood. That's only natural. His knife no doubt were punctured. Blood poured out of his mouth. Oh, but that piece of cloth... Wait. There's no blood on it. Since Emma Skye's fingerprints are on this cloth, there's no doubt that she's of the prosecutor side. However, Mr. Marshall was not impaled on the sword. No, this is nonsense. Now then, Chief Gunn, let me ask you something. Prosecutor Marshall was not impaled when he was shoved aside. He most likely hit his head on the ground and was knocked out. If so, then tell me, who could it have been? Who could have arrived at the scene before Mrs. Skye, picked up the unconscious prosecutor, and impaled him on the armor sword? Then, to make it look like Emma was responsible for the prosecutor's death, said person proceeded to write her name on the jar with a victim's blood. Then he broke the jar on purpose to leave behind a clue and make Lana believe her sister did it. Remember what you admitted one moment ago? That you personally cut out the bloodless piece of the victim's chest. Ironic, isn't it? Though the very act of creating assurance, you prove that you were the actual murderer. No! It's finished. Oh, that was close, right? You almost had me. Sorry again, something happened that required my attention, so... Sorry, but he'll have to do better than that. I refute your allegations. What do you mean you refute his allegations? You see, that piece of cloth? It's illegal evidence. What? Order, order. What nonsense is this? Illegal evidence cannot be used to convict a suspect. Remember, Adji? Earlier, all Wright here concealed that piece of cloth. So then, what's your excuse, Wright? What do you have to... you do have some conclusive evidence, don't you? Your Honor, I don't have any evidence I can present at this point in time. Well, that's true. The defense did refuse to present evidence. At that moment, that piece of cloth became ceased to be legal evidence. But that's not fair. Did you actually think you could beat me in this court? It looks like this, like the last laughs on your son. Where I'm afraid Mrs. Gunn's claim is legally correct. Well, Mr. Edgeworth? True, illegal evidence cannot be used to convict a person. Assuming, of course, that the evidence is indeed illegal. Well, Mr. Wright? Seems the last. The time for me to reveal my plan has finally arrived. Mr. Wright, do you admit to it? That you purposely and illegally concealed this piece of cloth? I did not such thing. Certainly, I refused to present evidence at one point. Aha, so the evidence is illegal. No, it isn't, Mr. Gant. Huh? It's not that I didn't present evidence then. It's that I couldn't. What do you mean, you couldn't? There are certain procedures involved when presenting evidence. No, Archie, don't listen to his lies. He's nothing but a coward. You can't let him. There is only one issue left to be resolved in this trial. Is this evidence legal or not? Very well, let us settle this once and for all. Earlier, you refused to present evidence. If you can prove your conduct was not in violation of the law, then do so now. No, thank you. This, here, yes. This is my proof, Your Honor. Evidence law. What's this? I've done my homework too, Chief. Indeed, Emma Skye's fingerprints were on this piece of cloth. However, at that point in time, this was merely a piece of cloth, nothing more. What? You see, it's written right here in this book, the second rule of evidence law. Rule number 1. No evidence shall be shown without the approval of the police department. I found this piece of evidence myself inside your safe, because without saying, I did not have approval from the police department. Rule number 2. Unregistered evidence presented must be relevant to the case in trial. And here is the crux of the matter. You see, at the time it was impossible for me to prove its relevance between the cloth and the SL9 incident. What? What kind of nonsense is this? You want relevancy? Just take a look at this picture and... Sorry, but if you can recall, when was that picture presented? It was shown only a few moments ago. No, he's right. In the beginning of today's trial, that piece of cloth was still meaningless. The person who gave it value as evidence was you, Damon Gant. You yourself confessed to a certain truth. Let me verify this once more. The day of the crime, you personally cut out this piece of the victim's vest. Oh yes. No! It was then that you approved this cloth as conclusive evidence. Yes, you, the chief of police, personally approved this cloth. The only person who could have cut this from the victim's vest is the one who stood before Prosecutor Marshall in his final moments. In other words, the real murderer. And there is only one person who that could be. Damon Gant, the killer was you. Yes. Well, we definitely broke him. Crimes are being committed every day, yet he insisted on hounding me. Well, your crime wasn't exactly pity. He wanted to reinvestigate this case. He recruited Angel Star, then convinced Bruce Goodman. Detective Goodman? Yeah, that's right. If the evidence is transferred, I'll lose my only chance to find out the truth. And my voice just fucked up. Great. Let me drink some water. Ah, yep, that's better. That's a better sound of voice. Please, you've got to help me. Goodman turned him down, as he ought to. Still, Jake Marshall didn't know when to quit. He stole Goodman's ID card and tried to take the evidence. Goodman came to me that day. He wanted to fill a lost item report. I went with him to the evidence room. Then all of a sudden, he had to speak out. What are you talking about, Goodman? Can you please reopen the investigation, Chief? We can't transfer the evidence out. There are too many questions left unanswered. He told me to open up the evidence room and take it out. It's not too late. I'll hand this to Marshall. Well, to be honest, I was a little panicked too. I had a bad feeling about it, but never knew it would come to this. That's when I saw that accursed knife. I couldn't just pull it out. You would only increase the amount of blood and you couldn't finish what you started. Even so, the blood was just pouring out. I didn't know who might stumble in, so I was wiping it up. Ρώτα για την τράπεζα.
Ναι. Να σου πω, οι τράπεζες είναι ανοιχτές σήμερα.
Αύριο.
Αύριο. Ναι, δεν ξέρω.
Today I guess I'm just famous, they just don't want me to finish the game. I didn't know who might stumble in, so I was wrapping it up. I was worrying so much about the floor, I didn't realize my mistake. The Gamsu's bloody handprint. I used to be known as a crime commuter, but everyone has to start somewhere, I guess. I was too nervous. Again the phone. I had no business doing any of it. Then you put the body in my car? I'm sorry. We couldn't think of any other way to move the body. We broke the truck, but what's the big deal? You pulled down a lot of us. You pulled down a lot more than us detectives. What does this have to do with anything? But hold me, how could the Mrs. Skye involved in all this? Well, she had as much to lose as I did. The truth came out. If the truth came out. So you took the evidence from Detective Goodman's locker? I feel bad for having to do it. I couldn't sit around and pick and choose what to take. Well, you left the jar fragment in gloves. Yeah. Looks like I was better off being an investigator of crimes than a commuter. They all did their best to get in my way. I've got to hand it to them. They do their jobs well, much to my dismay. Fake evidence doesn't hold up very well upon cross-examination. You must have known that. Tell me, Worthy, what are you doing in court? Me? You despise criminals. I can feel it. You and me, we're the same. One day you'll understand. If you want to take them on alone, you'll figure out what's needed. He's not alone, he's got us. And fifth. Well, looks like it's time to say goodbye. Oh, Edgy? What? Looks like we'll have to cancel that last day. Sorry, old friend. I'm sorry too, Demon Gun. I knew you as you used to be, long ago. You were once a fine investigator, an example to others on the force. Sorry to learn that you are no longer that person. Those days are gone now, Adji. Thanks for all the memories though. Don't worry, you'll be fine. Now you have Wright here. And Worthy. With these two around, you can't go wrong. You see, if I listen carefully, I can hear it right now. The sound of a new beginning. You are crazy. There are two things I want you to understand. Yes? First, your sister never hurt anyone. Second, the moon can't betray you from the beginning. You see, Mrs. Skye? You no longer have any reason to keep silent. You're right. When this trial is over, I'll tell everything. All that I've done this past 2 years. From the time I had Gunn help me forge evidence up until now. So, it seems all the questions raised in this trial have been answered. Sorry, Mrs. Skye, I couldn't get you out of all your trouble. My, what high standards you have for a rookie. I can't see why Mia thought so highly of you. Who knows, a few years from now, you just might make it to the top. The first smile she cracked. I owe you my thanks, Mr. Wright. Mrs. Skye. And to you too, Mr. Edward. You suffer every bit as much as I have over these past years. Believe me, I know much of you and until I've been of you. It was nothing. What a night you are. I was worried the person might break you, and yet you rose above it all and guided Mr. Wright to victory. You've done well, Mr. Edward. Stop it, I only did my job. In light of this case, it seems a good examining is in order for all of us. Mrs. Skye, yes, Your Honor? You are innocent of murder. However, although the Chief blackmailed you, the fact is that you still act as an accomplice. A trial will be scheduled for those crimes at a later date. Yes, I understand, Your Honor. Is there something amusing about all of this? Why are you smiling? It's been a long time, Your Honor. A long time since I felt free of this heavy chains. Well, this trial has already gone for far too long. Regarding the charge of murder, this court finds defendant Lana Skye not guilty. That is all. The court is adjourned. Whew, finally. At long last, it's finally over. My thoughts exactly. Emma? Why the long face? Sorry your sister didn't get completely off the hook, but at least she wasn't convicted for a murder she didn't commit. No, that's not it. Just now, after the trial ended, I can see why Mia Faith thought so highly of you. I owe you my thanks, Mr. Wright. And to you too, Mr. Edgeworth. You've suffered every bit as much as I have over these past few days. You've done well. She thanked everyone but poor Emma. You know, I did my best too, but Lana didn't say a single word to me. Hope I'm not interrupting anything. Get lost, detective. Oh, yes I am. I'll come back later. Oh, Detective Gamsu, what is it? He's no longer a detective. You're doing this on purpose, aren't you? Making a detective run all around while on duty. And to top it off, you call me here. I've seen happy people at funerals. You said that again. Hey, lighten up, pals. I'm only kidding. Oh, are you here because of my sister again? Nope, not this time. I came today because of you, pal. Me? That's right. I thought you'd like to see someone. Lana, should you be doing this? She's still under arrest, you know. Well, I won't tell you, you don't. Emma, I owe you an apology. It's okay, sis, don't worry about it. That day 2 years ago was the first time in my life I've ever panicked. It was all I could do to keep myself from screaming. All I could think was keeping you from getting wrapped up in this mess. Sis, I asked Gun to help me cover up the truth. I thought I was doing it for your sake, but now I realize I was wrong. It changed after that day. I had to. It was the only way I could make it through the past 2 years. I knew how much I was hurting you by distancing myself, but I couldn't bring myself to tell you what I did. I was scared that you'd look at me with those eyes of yours. I was scared of how you'd react if you knew. But sis, you were only doing it for me. No. Huh? I turned my back on you that day. In hiding what I believed to be the truth, I was deceiving you. Sis, I'm such a fool. It took me all this time to realize. Emma, I'm so sorry. But sis, you don't have to apologize. I'm happy now. You're happy? Of course. You know, sis, I always knew that one day you'd come back. And now you have. Oh, Emma. Emma. No one can change the past. The only thing we can do is strive to make up for our mistakes. Why must we make up for our mistakes, you ask? Because in doing so, we can find the way back to our path. And once we found our path, we can move on from our past mistakes towards a brighter future. At least that's what I felt looking at those two sisters make up. Mr. Wright, Mr. Gamsu, me? Thank you both for all that you've done. I'm sure we'll meet again someday. Isn't that right, Edgeworth? Edgeworth? Stop hiding and come over here. Where was he hiding? I just came to say congratulations. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Edgeworth. Right, well, I'll be going now. Mr. Edgeworth, I hope you don't blame yourself for what happened. We were the ones who acted corruptly, not you. It's too late for me. No matter what Daniel may say, I realized today that I can't change my own mistakes. We just made this lecture about mistakes. Not only that, but I don't even trust myself anymore. Chief Gunn was right. You despise criminals, I can feel it. You and me, we're the same. One day you'll understand. If you want to take them on alone, you'll figure out what's needed. I do despise criminals. I plan to dedicate my entire life to fighting them. But in order to fight crime alone, one needs a weapon. It's scary, but I've been thinking of the same thing for quite some time now. But Edgeworth, who knows? Given enough time, I might have tried to pull something like Chief Gunn did. That thought terrifies me. That's why I can't continue on as a prosecutor. Edgeworth, don't you understand? Demon Gunn and your mentor, Manfred von Karma, were both the best of the best when it came to fighting crime. But they both made the same mistake. You said in order to fight crime alone, one needs a weapon. That may be right, but think back to today's trial. You weren't alone. You were working together with Mr. Wright. And because of that partnership, you were able to present evidence that otherwise would have gone undiscovered. Isn't that right, Mr. Wright? Huh? What? Oh, yeah. What is it? This hypocrisy? Come on, Wright. Show him what Lana was talking about. Evidence that neither Edgeworth nor I would have been able to find on our own. That's the picture I drew. Our counterattack began with this. You had one half of the evidence list and I had the other. Apart, we wouldn't have been able to completely restore Emma's picture. That didn't just happen by chance, Edgeworth. It's time for me to go. My people need me. Mr. Edgeworth, if you'll excuse me, there are still some loose ends that need wrapping up. Take care, Chief Prosecutor. What am I? Edgeworth, what will you do now? Well, whatever you do, just remember, what happened in this trial can either make or break you as a prosecutor. In the end, it's up to you. I know. It seems I owe you my thanks too, Wright. But what I face now is my problem. Edgeworth, I'll be waiting for you in court. Farewell. Better be getting back too. Okay, I'll come visit you. Since we both have still a lot to learn. Here, take this little something for you. Scientific investigation. I like this book. It's the first book I ever bought. Studied well. Thanks, sis. I will. So, another game came to close. And for the sisters, I have faith. Faith that their lives have only just begun. So deep. And as for me, I think it's time I start on a new journey on my own. A journey to rediscover myself. Yeah, this whole animation just make my whole PC tank. Well, don't go trading off just yet, pal. Huh? What is it, detective? There's just one little matter to be resolved about the chief prosecutor. You see... she's not supposed to be out of jail like this, but I thought you said it was okay. Yeah, well, it may be okay with me, but the folks at the prison are a different story. Huh? Basically, I had to bribe a guard in order to sneak her out for 30 minutes. Believe me, it wasn't cheap either. Huh? Way to go, detective. I didn't know you had a wild side. Yeah, well, you see, Mr. Wright here is the one who'll be footing the bill. Huh? What do you think? I could afford with my salary. You gotta be kidding me, pal. Huh? Thank you, Mr. Wright. You're the best. Why is it? Suddenly feel like I want to scream. Since we're all here, why don't we all go together? Yeah, that's a great idea. Come on, guys. Let's go. Well, there's one thing I can do right now. That is... Objection! Come on, render it! God damn it! Objection! Oh, thank God. That went really great. So, that's the nice endings and all this shit. You can actually... and I'm screaming now to say things. Hello! See, in the bottom screen you actually get some nice if you scream and do things. So, I'm going to talk about, you know, what I think of this Let's Play. And my other Let's Play. So, before I go off, my next game will be a Mega Man game. Battle Network something or other, the first Battle Network as a matter of fact. This was actually the game that was supposed to accompany Phoenix Wright, the Phoenix Wright Let's Play, but I instead chose the Layton one because, you see, I found it more, not intriguing, I found it more fitting to do Layton. I was going to do Layton anyway, and well, Mega Man is a really long game too. So if I were to go out and do both, I would never finish the way this has gone. I like the games, I'm not going to lie, but well, the last case is what broke it for me. It really was a blur, even for the, you know, for this being my third time playing this. It was really a blur, it was really annoying and I didn't quite like it. But well, what's done's done. And And yeah, that's about it. And I've been recording for an hour. Great. No, that's great. That's great. What else? Yes, I need to actually finally finish Layton, and this will be done after this Let's Play. After this episode is aired. My university half-year exams are finished, and well, before the Mega Man series, and we have the dancing thing here, and I'm going to speak a little later so that we can see it. And it broke down. I am eventually going to do the next games, the rest of the games, both the Layton other 3 games and the Phoenix other 2 games. By other 3 games I mean the rest. I am going to eventually do Justice. I am actually eventually going to do the Edgeworth game. I may probably won't do the Edgeworth 2 game if, well, if it comes along. If it doesn't come along, I won't be able to do it because, well, it would be illegal. Even if I do use the hacked version, I will probably play the hacked version though once finished. I'm not going to lie to you guys, but I won't be doing it. Yeah, I also know what the next game after Mega Man will probably be, and should it be what I want it to be, it will be a nice circle for this channel. It will bring this channel to a nice circle, and I'm going to go and do back something new, but yet old. The game after Mega Man will be also a part of a series that was a big part of my childhood. I'm kidding. If it is what I'm thinking, but there is another one which has nothing to do with my childhood really, which might also be a good tent around. It really depends on what I will be able to do and what I want. That's pretty much it actually. I have nothing more to say. I really can't wait to play the next game, actually, the Dual Destinies game, Phoenix Wright. I really dig the good idea of having Athena, or Athena, what's actually her name should be pronounced, not Athena, Athena. Athena is the name for Athens we have here in Greece. I really like her, I think, even though she, well, is quite similar to use rather than the power that Phoenix will have in the next game. I'm going to go into it when the next game goes, and the power Apollo Justice has, which is seeing through lies and body language, which is really awesome. And I'm really digging the new art style, as a matter of fact too, which is quite nice. Not too much the voice actor of Phoenix though. I mean, okay, he has quite a deeper voice. It's not that bad though. He's going to be okay. Mr. Edgeworth. Mr. Edgeworth? I bought you your tree. What's going on? Yes, I narrated that one because it's actually the most important one. So, it has been me, Darth Leon, and I'm going to see you next time, whenever that is.